Montepò is located in Tuscany, in Italy. We're speaking about a spectacular place in Tuscany called Maremma, more precisely. Maremma is a unique land over here. It's all nearby the seaside of Tuscany, but we're speaking about a very, very particular Maremma location, because the Castello di Montepò is really nearby the seaside, but we're speaking at 530 meters above the sea level on top of the hills of Maremma, and this microclimate and this terroir are absolutely unique for Maremma and for growing our San Jose Grosso Bbs 11. The Castello di Montepò is a 600 hectares of property in total, and of these 600 hectares, only 55 are planted with our in vineyards. This because they have each vineyard has been selected by its special terroir and its special microclimate. So of these 55 hectares planted in vineyards, a little bit more of 85% of the whole surface of the vineyards is planted under San Jose Grosso Bbs 11 clone, which is a special and particular clone of the Biondi family, and the remaining 15% is planted under two other grape varieties, Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. The system we are using here in Montepò is a single spored cordon, and here we are speaking in front of a unique plant of San Jose Grosso. This type of San Jose Grosso is called the San Jose Grosso Bbs 11, and it is a particular clone selection that our family have selected in our history, family history, and it is unique of the Biondi family for the production of wine in all over the world. So it's a trademark of the family, and this is the meaning why my father, Jacopo Biondi, decided to purchase the Montepò winery. He really wanted to discover and develop all the potentials of this unique plant, so the San Jose Grosso Bbs 11, and he decided to purchase the Montepò property because there were no vineyards here when he purchased the property at the end of the 1980s, and nowadays in 2022 we are developing this beautiful project, and we are seeing all the results. Here in Montepò is the terroir and especially the microclimate. Montepò is located on top of the hills of Maremma, but we are very nearby the seaside. This makes the microclimate very unique, especially on the thermic excursion. Thermic excursion is a crucial data for us in Montepò. During spring and during summer, we are able to reach over 35 degrees during the day and less than 10 degrees in the morning. So we have a very big thermic excursion, which is the main data for the development of the perfumes of our San Jose Grosso Bbs 11. Here we are in front of a new implantation here in Montepò, and it is about 3.8 hectares, and we are running a project here in Montepò called Montepò 2030. Montepò 2030 is a vision that myself and my father we have on the winery, on the Montepò winery, and we are, for example, developing and we are seeing Montepò at 70 hectares in production within the 2030. It is a project that overfaces 360 degrees of our winery, not only the surface of the vineyards, not only the study of the microclimate that we are really deeply studying into it, but we are trying to set up a database of informations that will help us on the production of our wines over here. Here in Montepò, we are speaking about a very unique type of terroir. This terroir is called Galestro. Galestro is a very rocky soil, you see, that completely breaks in a lot of parts. And this soil is unique for growing our San Jose Grosso Bbs 11, because it's a soil very poor in nutrients, but very rich in minerals. As you can see, it is very, very rich in different minerals, every rock. And as soon as we work our land, we develop all these minerals to our plants. This is why the terroir is unique here in Montepò. Here we are inside the aging cellars of the Castello di Montepò. We are located right now inside the Castello di Montepò. So my father and I, we really wanted to develop this system where the most important wines of our production and of our winery were aging inside our house here in Montepò. So as you can see, we are using 225 liters barrique, most of them untoasted, and we are using barrels, as you can see on my shoulders, from Stockinger and Taranzò. So the barrels, we usually try to prefer large barrel formats, 28.5 hectoliters, and while we use the barrique as well for the aging of all our wines. Sassoloro is the heart of the Bion di Santi family and the heart of the Castello di Montepò. This wine represents the meaning why the Castello di Montepò exists. It has been created, so the first vintage has been in 1991, and it represents the flagship wine of the wineries nowadays. Sassoloro is 100% San Jose Grosso, coming here from Montepò, the perfect expression of the San Jose Grosso here in Montepò. But what is particular in this wine is not only the terroir, not only the microzonas, but the vinification of the wine as well. So my father really wanted to enhance all the perfumes and all the drinkability that the San Jose Grosso can have with this wine. And so he really worked a lot during the alcoholic fermentation. So everything is done manually, the harvest as well. All the harvest is done manually here in Montepò. And when we receive the grapes, we do the alcoholic and malolactic fermentation of the wine in stainless steel vats. Alcoholic fermentation is where we work most because we do an alcoholic fermentation at a low temperature, so 24 degrees Celsius, but we do and develop a very deeper maceration. So in the maceration, we are able to extract all the polyphenols from the skins, and here it's why this beautiful color on the Sassoloro. After the two fermentations, we move the wine in barrique for 14 months, and then we bottle the wine and we release the wine. Here we are speaking about the 2018 vintage, really beautiful vintage. I think that the perfect keyword for this vintage is freshness, because 2018 has been characterized by a very dry summer, but in mid-August it started to rain, and all the rainfalls have kept going and going until the harvest. So it has been very challenging for us to keep and bring and harvest all the different parcels here in Montepò at the right time, at the right moment. But I think we did a very beautiful job And so the key word for this 2018 vintage is freshness, especially on the Sassuoloro. Looking at the color, we see, as I told you before, the extraction that we do during the alcoholic fermentation, during the maceration process. And when we drink the Sassuoloro, we always want to feel this beautiful drinkability of the San Jose Grosso. So on the nose, we have primary perfumes, always developed, of black fruit. So blueberries, blackberries on the nose. And when we drink it, it's the beautiful surprise. It's very elegant, already very balanced, but very precise. So it has his own life, his own character. Sassuoloro knows where it's going, and I think it is a perfect wine to be drinked and paired with any type of food. Beautiful, fresh, immediate, and very long-lasting in the mouth. The structure is what really characterizes the Sassuoloro, and I think it's very important to feel that drinkability here is exactly in the same place with structure on this wine. During the vintage 2019, a new project and especially a new wine came out from the Bion di family here at Castello di Montepò. We're speaking about Sassuoloro Oro. Sassuoloro Oro comes from the vinification of a single vineyard called Aia di Clemente. We're speaking about 6 hectares of vineyard located here in the winery of Montepò, all planted under San Jose Grosso Bbs 11 clone. So Sassuoloro Oro is the single vinification, the result of the single vinification of this vineyard, and we made it for the first time during the vintage 2019. Spectacular vintage. We're speaking about one of the most beautiful vintages of the last years here in Tuscany, really made and suit perfect for our wines, and especially for our San Jose Grosso. So here we have worked a little bit more on the vinification of the wine. As you can see, compared from the Sassuoloro, and we had the 2018 vintage, compared to the Sassuoloro, we see a little lighter color, so we work less on the maceration during alcoholic and malolactic fermentation, and this to obtain a little bit less color, but much more structure. So we move the wine after the 2 fermentations, the alcoholic and malolactic one done in stainless steel vats. We move the wine in barrels and barrique together. Half of the production of the Sassuoloro Oro went in barrique, half of it went in barrels for 16 months. After this period of aging process, we put together the wine, then we bottled the wine, and we kept our bottles inside the winery for 8 months before to release them. So here we find a much more classic style vinification style of the San Jose Grosso, especially of our Bbs 11. We see a lighter color, but beautiful cherry perfumes, more tertiary perfumes we're speaking, rather than the Sassuoloro, which is more primary perfumes. So more tertiary perfumes, and when of course we drink the wine, we feel much more the structure and the potential that the Sassuoloro Oro express on itself to be vinificated by 100% San Jose Grosso Bbs 11. Very long lasting, very powerful, dries out very well the mouth, but still a very important key word for this wine is elegance and balance. 2016 vintage is a very spectacular vintage. I think that the key word, the perfect key word for this vintage has been elegance. So everything is very, very well balanced in our Schidione. The blend, but even all the grape varieties with themselves. It has been a beautiful vintage after the 2015 that has been incredibly powerful, but it needed much more time to develop in the bottle. 2016 has been more immediate, more drinkable, more elegant and balanced in the first years. So when we, of course, when we look at the color of this wine, it's very deep, it's very dark still, it's absolutely normal, and when we smell it, we really feel the power of the Cabernet Sauvignon, especially in the first years, with the little hint, the beautiful smell of the Merlot as well. When we drink the wine, it's completely another thing. We really feel in the first, in the young vintages, we really feel the power of the Cabernet Sauvignon, that it's very elegant still in this wine, and then we feel the flavor of the Merlot, but what is really beautiful is that we feel the perfect structure of the San Jose Grosso. So it is unique, and the San Jose Grosso is something that doesn't come out immediately in this bottle, and especially in this wine, but it comes out after. So when the wine starts to age, the structure of the San Jose Grosso takes the perfect direction for this wine, to drive this wine during its beautiful evolution.